Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Lately, I've been reflecting a lot on how we handle things like money and purpose. Isn't it funny how, no matter how hard we try, things can still feel uncertain? I've definitely been there. The moments when you question whether you're on the right path or if you're truly using your resources in the best possible way. But here's the thing I've come to understand. Our relationship with money and work doesn't have to be stressful or complicated. It can actually be deeply meaningful, even spiritual, if we let it be. I want to share some insights that have really shifted my perspective on these aspects of life. My hope is that by the end of this, you'll find a bit of peace and perhaps a fresh perspective that makes everything feel a little lighter. So stick with me, because I think you'll really appreciate what's coming. I'm a spiritual director, and I've worked with many people navigating their inner lives with God, helping them live in alignment with His guidance from the inside out. One thing I firmly believe is that every action we take, even the most practical ones, like managing our money or our work, are at their core spiritual. Money is a tool, a resource that should be used wisely, yet we often attach so many layers of meaning to it. We view it as a measure of value, a reflection of our desires, or even a symbol of success. But the reality is, how we spend or save money speaks volumes about our priorities, values, and beliefs. And for me, I've realized that God calls us to be good stewards of what He provides. This includes money. Every resource we have is meant to be managed responsibly, and we are called to do so in a way that honors Him. Money, for many, can be a tricky topic. Some people are constantly thinking, if only I had more, while others struggle with guilt, worried they have too much. The whole idea of tithing, giving a set portion back, is important, but I think we can sometimes get so wrapped up in rules and obligations around money that it feels more restrictive than freeing. Our beliefs about money are influenced by so many things: cultural expectations, the values of the churches we grew up in, our parents' financial habits or struggles, and even our own personalities. But beyond these influences, the Bible offers a lot of wisdom about finances. God doesn't just want us to survive. He wants us to thrive financially and in every other aspect of our lives. When we align our financial habits with biblical principles, we not only find peace and growth, but we can also experience abundance. But let's face it, managing money isn't always easy. I've made my own mistakes, and even today, I find myself acting impulsively or sometimes being overly frugal. When that happens, I take a step back and ask myself, what deeper feelings or beliefs might be driving this behavior? I don't judge myself for it. Instead, I reflect and often talk it out with God or a trusted friend. One of the most profound shifts in my own thinking came when I embraced the idea that God owns everything. There's so many verses in the Bible that reaffirm this truth. Not just that God created everything, but that He actively sustains it. He owns our time, our resources, and even our hearts. A verse that stands out to me is from 1 Chronicles 29, verse 11. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor, for everything in heaven and earth is yours. This verse fills me with awe because it reminds me that the Creator of everything has entrusted us with what we have, not out of obligation, but out of His generosity. When we realize that everything belongs to God, our relationship with money shifts. It no longer becomes something we have to control or hoard, but rather something we are entrusted with to manage wisely. This perspective helps me to not just survive financially, but to flourish, with the understanding that my resources are to be used to reflect God's generosity in the world. When it comes to debt, many of us feel trapped in a cycle that seems never-ending. But what if I told you that creating a personalized financial pact with God could be the key to breaking free from that burden? It's not just about budgets or numbers. It's about forming a divine partnership that empowers you to overcome debt with purpose. For many, the journey of paying off debt can feel isolating or overwhelming. But by creating a covenant with God, you open yourself up to His guidance and support in a way that transforms the process. I know these shifts in perspective can take time, but when we begin to manage our money with purpose, and align our actions with a higher calling, everything changes. Money stops being something we chase. It becomes a tool to serve others, to bless others, and to build a life that honors God. The more we reflect His generosity, the more peace and abundance we can experience in our own lives. So take a moment today to pause and reflect on how you view money. Are you managing it in a way that reflects your values? Are you open to seeing it as a gift that can help you serve others and fulfill your purpose? If so, know that God is right there, guiding you every step of the way. Imagine the profound impact it could have on your life to approach your financial struggles with a plan rooted in faith, guided by timeless biblical principles. What if you could align your financial goals with God's promises, trusting that His wisdom and guidance would lead you to a life free from debt? This isn't just a dream, it's entirely possible. That's exactly why I created a guide designed to help you make a financial covenant with God, a pact that can break the chains of debt and set you on a path to financial freedom. It walks you step by step through the process of building a divine financial agreement, allowing you to tap into the power of faith to eliminate financial burdens. The key principle here is simple. Just like the law of sowing and reaping, when you invest in your future, even when finances seem tight, it can unlock doors you never imagined. This is not an expense, but rather an investment in your future, a commitment to a debt-free life with God as your partner. And when you embrace this journey, you're choosing a path of peace, purpose, and lasting financial health. But the transformation doesn't stop there. The second shift I had to make was in my understanding of contentment. For so long, I thought contentment was something I could force myself to feel. I believed I could just repeat a verse and hope the feeling would follow. But over time, I realized that true contentment isn't about willing myself into a certain emotion. It's about building a deep, secure foundation in my relationship with God. Philippians 4 verses 11 to 13 talks about this. Paul learned the secret of being content in every situation, whether in plenty or in lack. His secret wasn't forcing himself to feel content, but resting in God's peace. True contentment is a process, learned through time and deepening your connection with God. This understanding was liberating, as it freed me from the pressure to appear content or spiritual. It's not about striving to be the perfect version of myself. It's about drawing closer to God, who teaches me how to be at peace, no matter the circumstances. Then, I had another insight. My relationship with money revealed my internal beliefs and desires. A verse that hit home for me was Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This verse challenged me deeply. I realized that if my happiness or security depended on a specific amount of money, I would always be chasing an elusive sense of fulfillment. There would always be something more to strive for. I began to reflect on how my spending habits mirrored my internal struggles. If I felt anxious about money, I would try to control it tightly, being overly cautious or reluctant to spend on even basic needs. On the other hand, if I was in a more carefree mood, I would sometimes overspend, hoping that money would bring me joy. Both extremes pointed to something deeper. My relationship with money was shaped by my emotional needs, whether it was seeking safety, pleasure, or reassurance. Recognizing these tendencies has helped me understand that my behaviors around money are a reflection of my internal world. It's not about labeling these behaviors as right or wrong, but understanding them and then opening myself to change. Learning to view money through the lens of Scripture has been transformative, as it brings peace, perspective, and purpose into my financial life. These realizations have guided me towards a deeper sense of spiritual and financial health. Understanding that God owns everything, learning true contentment, and recognizing what my behaviors reveal about my heart have shaped my journey. And I hope that as you reflect on these scriptures, you, too, can discover a sense of peace, stewardship, and contentment in your own life. One crucial lesson I've learned is that engaging with money isn't just about transactions or accumulating wealth. Money holds value because society has attached meaning to it, but this doesn't mean it should be the center of our lives. For example, a $100 bill may hold immense value in one context, but in a remote village where it's irrelevant, it loses its significance. The true value of money lies in how we assign meaning to it. This brings us to a spiritual truth. Money, as a concept, influences our personal stories and our spiritual journey. Matthew 6 verse 24 was pivotal for me. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. This doesn't mean we can't have money or use it, but rather it's about our priorities. Who or what do we serve? For me, it's about serving God and placing money beneath Him, not allowing it to become the driving force of my life. Money is a tool, not the ultimate goal. Finally, I realized that work is more than just earning a paycheck. It's a partnership with God. Matthew 11 verse 28 invites us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." When we view work as a divine partnership, we don't just work for income. We work with purpose, knowing that God is with us every step of the way. As you continue your own journey, I hope these reflections inspire you to look at money, work, and contentment in a new light, one that aligns with faith and biblical principles. It's not about perfection. It's about progression and trusting God's wisdom to guide you to a place of true peace and financial freedom. Life can often feel like a heavy load, especially when we find ourselves buried under debt and financial stress. But here's something I've learned. Work done in partnership with God is meant to feel light and purposeful. It's not just about earning a living to make ends meet. It's about fulfilling your true calling. And for that, we need a clear direction, one that's shaped by God's wisdom. One verse that really resonates with me is Proverbs 22 verse 7. "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." This verse always brings me back to the anxious grip of debt. When I'm in debt, I feel trapped, as if I'm constantly working just to pay it off, stuck in a cycle of servitude to someone else. It's a constant weight on my mind and soul. But the real lesson here is the importance of freeing yourself from financial burdens so you can focus more on serving God and living out His purpose for you, instead of merely serving a lender. In 1 Corinthians 6 verse 20, we're reminded that you were bought at a price. This hit me hard because it made me realize that my worth is not tied to what I own. It doesn't matter if I have a fancy car, a house, or the latest gadgets. Those things do not define who I am. Our society may try to tell us that our possessions are a reflection of our worth, but God's perspective is completely different. We often end up pouring so much time and energy into maintaining our possessions, cleaning, fixing, worrying about them, that we lose sight of what really matters: relationships, faith, and the pursuit of spiritual growth. I began to see that my things weren't extensions of myself, but tools that serve a specific purpose. My true value comes from God, not from my belongings. This understanding has helped me keep materialism in check and focus on what's truly important. Many of us dream of being free from debt, but without a plan, it can feel more like a distant dream than an achievable goal. That's why building a financial covenant with God is so transformative. By establishing a personalized pact with God, you're inviting His wisdom into your financial journey. This partnership helps guide you in making decisions that are aligned with biblical principles and ultimately leads you closer to a debt-free life. Debt is not just about money. It's about feeling weighed down. But you don't have to carry this burden alone. When you invite God into your financial journey, you're partnering with the one who knows all and can provide divine support. Imagine the difference this partnership could make, helping you take control of your finances one step at a time. This is why I created the Financial Covenant Guide, which empowers you to develop a God-centered plan for eliminating debt. It's a plan built on faith and stewardship, designed to lead you toward freedom from financial strain. Even if things feel tight right now, this could be the breakthrough you need to move toward a new, faith-filled path. The seventh lesson I learned is about stewardship. It's not just about managing money. It's about managing all the resources God has given you: time, money, relationships, and even your spiritual gifts. In Luke 16, verse 11, we're reminded, "If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches?" This verse helped me see that stewardship is a way to honor God by wisely managing what He's entrusted to me. It's not just about accumulating more wealth, but about using what I have with purpose. The Psychology of Money book talks about how many people say they want $1 million, but really, they just want the freedom to spend it. To truly have that kind of freedom means learning to save, resisting impulse spending, and prioritizing long-term goals, something many of us struggle with. Stewardship, then, is about recognizing that real freedom doesn't come from owning more, but from managing what we already have with intention. As I started focusing on stewardship, I noticed my sense of fulfillment growing. Not from accumulating more things, but from making decisions that aligned with my values and my desire to serve God. Life, with all its resources, is a gift. There are seasons of abundance and seasons of need, each offering unique lessons. Matthew 5 verse 45 reminds us that the sun rises on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. Resources, when we have them, are a blessing. But even in seasons of scarcity, there are spiritual growth opportunities. I've had some of the most profound lessons in my life during financial strain, times when I had to rely on a friend to help with rent. It was humbling, but it also taught me the importance of community and the vulnerability we share with others. The family of God is there to help us through tough times, when not meant to navigate life alone. If you're seeking spiritual support and growth, I invite you to join the Flourish Collective, an online Christian community where we can journey together, nurture our faith, and embrace God's work in our lives. There's also a list of Bible verses on money below that can help you dive deeper into this topic. In future videos, I'll discuss more about work and how to discern God's purpose in our careers, questions many of us ponder. I look forward to exploring how to work with God and discover our true calling in life. The key takeaway here is simple. When we align our finances with God's wisdom, we can find true freedom, not just in our bank accounts, but in our hearts and in our relationships. With God's guidance, we're equipped to steward our resources wisely, which brings peace and fulfillment in every area of life.